Alright everybody, so welcome. This is going to be game number 1 between Mr. Yo and Lyx versus Pela and Fedex. This is round of 16s in Empire Wars Duo. We are gonna have Mr. Yo and Lyx on the left side of the map in Vietnamese. And on the other side, Lyx is going to be playing as Huns in yellow, other side Pela's Ethiopians in blue, and we're gonna have Fedex and Lithuanians in green. To answer that question, we don't know when Viper's team is going to play. That's the only unscheduled series just yet, but we are going to have that as soon as the times are confirmed for those series. Those will also be added to AoE Zone calendar, Liquipedia, whatsoever. So we will have the Lithuanians plus Ethiopians combo over here, and Ethiopians have a 100% win rate in this tournament so far because they can be extremely good as an aggressive archer civ in here. On the other side, we will have Yo with Vietnamese, and he's playing archers, and Lyx is going to be the scouts player over here with Huns, so no Magyars on this one. Meanwhile, we're gonna have double range opening from Pela on the right side. Scouts are already coming in here from Fedex. Let's see if they can find a few Voyagers from Lyx. Lyx has quite a lot of Voyagers exposed over here, but some of those scouts have taken some damage, so I don't think they can kill a lot of Voyagers, especially with Lyx having his own scouts over here. I don't think this is going to be a good fight. They're trying to keep the walls open as much as possible, but for now, Lyx will be fine at defending, and in the meanwhile, we already have an archer coming in here alongside a spearman, so that's going to be a little bit challenging to deal with. There is also some archers slowly coming forward for Pela, which could be a little bit of a concern for Lyx. Lyx is by far not fully walled. In fact, his gold mine is dangerously exposed. These walls are very long, so it takes quite a lot of time to finish them. And in the meanwhile, Mr. Yo is picking off one villager over here from Fedex. Fedex is already losing the front of his base. The gold mine is at a very, very bad spot, and the berries also aren't great. In fact, it's a pretty bad map overall. But in the meanwhile, we also have scouts and archers coming in slowly, one by one from Pela. I think what Pela needs here is more spears, though. If there was a few more spears, this could be a completely different fight. But since there isn't any spears in here, there is basically no chance to kill those scouts easily. Whereas if you take a look at Mr. Yo's aggression, there is spears to kill the scouts from Fedex. That's the difference between the two teams right now. That Fedex is just unable to defend against this archer plus spear aggression, whereas for Pela, he doesn't have a spearman accompanying his archers, which means that the scouts can actually do pretty decent damage to those archers already. Lyx is kind of being the punch bag over here, and he's just taking all the pressure, essentially getting 2v1'd, but in the meanwhile, Mr. Yo is just able to do so much pressure to Fedex. Fedex is down to 33 eco, and it appears that game number 1 is going to be favoring Team China over here, as Yo is just going to continue pressuring with all these archers. And in the meanwhile, some skirms pop out for Lyx. I don't necessarily like this one, that he had to go for the skirms, but I guess it's not really going to cause a lot of trouble anyways. And I think there might have been a hole over here, and we are also seeing skirms from Fedex. So both cavalry players are going for skirms. The concern here for Fedex's team, I believe, is that Lyx is going to have a better eco behind this one because he hasn't lost a lot of Voyagers like Fedex. So it's 39 against 34 in terms of Voyager count. So yeah, the problem here for Fedex is that this army is great, but this is going to delay his castle age time. And in the meanwhile, look at how Yo is dragging away the skirmishers to the north. And in the meanwhile, he's sending in the archers to the other side to pick off additional Voyagers. Nice moves there from Pela to pressure the wood line from the other side. And the walls from Lyx aren't still finished, and he's still far from clicking up to Castle Age. But I think what could happen is that we could see Yo in Castle pretty soon. Yo trying to finish his walls off over here, because apparently Pela has quite a lot of archers coming in, and that is going to force Yo to retreat back home. Nice move from Pela, I have to say, because Yo indeed has to run now. And honestly, Pela is doing the work here. Pela is doing all the work, because right now he's kind of forcing Lyx to defend, and he's also forcing Yo to turn back home. Still, I think Yo, if he clicks up to Castle Age, he might even do that without queuing up one more Voyager. Just idle TC a tiny bit and click up to Castle. Then the crossbows will be a game changer over here. Although Pela himself isn't really far away from getting up to Castle Age either. Other side, Skirm's taking an acceptable fight over here, but still, those are Ethiopian archers with +1/+1, and the Skirms are missing the +1 armor, which means that they aren't as outstanding as they could be. But Lyx is on the way to Castle Age, and that's what matters. if both Lyx and Yo are in castle, they will just be able to finish off this army. Now, this is important for Yo. He needs to keep this army alive. If he loses this army, he's not gonna have anything to fight with in Castle Age. He can take a fight against the archers, that's fine, even though he's missing armor, so unless he has a good micro, this is not going to be a great fight for him. But in the meanwhile, this isn't really doing a lot of damage to Lyx. It's annoying, it forces the villagers off from the berries and a few farms, but this isn't really inflicting insane damage to all the villagers. And this is going to mean that Lyx is going to be able to get to double stables. In fact, in the meanwhile, Yo actually cleans this army up. But Yo, don't do this, Yo. He's just running in front of those skirms. Now, if you run into their face, you can just clean them up. And apparently, Yo is committing to that. He just wants to make sure, okay, there is no skirms at the back. I'm just gonna push forward my crossbows after I killed you all. That's what Yo is planning. Pela is also on the way to Castle Age, which could make things interesting. Fast ballistics and tumbling could definitely be something of consideration over here for the Argentinian team. And in the meanwhile, we could have Yo coming forward, and this is where it gets tough. I mean, Fedex is also on his way towards Castle Age, but he's going to be quite a bit delayed. He's gonna tower on the gold mine, which I like, but quite a lot of his wood eco is exposed at the back of his base, so a lot of damage could be done on him, but apparently Yo is going to switch attention towards Pela. So they want to kill the archers player over here with the crossbowmen. This is dangerous because Ethiopian crossbows are no joke, and I could see Yo retreating once he sees that Pela is also up into Castle Age. Knights coming out in small quantities, but Lyx doesn't really have the best of all ecos behind this one, so +2 armor will be missing, only +1 on those knights. And that means that they will melt to Ethiopian crossbows over here. Ballistics and crossbow coming in here for everybody, but tumbling also on the way for Pela. Now, this is the dangerous for Pela. He's going to fight against crossbows with archers only. Has +1 armor, just like Yo. He should wait until he has tumbling. This is a premature fight he doesn't want to take, and I think he might have just thrown away his entire army. I think he went a little bit too greedy over there, because now the knights are excellent meat shield, especially with +2 armor. Luckily you have pikemen over here, so unless Yo snipes that down, the pikemen can do a lot of damage, but those crossbows are going down just before tumbling. That's not something that you want to have. And now Lyx indeed is running inside, and there is no army for Pela. I think he should have waited until tumbling kicks in, because he was fighting for this hill, but in reality, this hill doesn't really mean anything right now. Forward siege workshop from Lyx over here. They want to go Castle Age all in here. Now the thing is that, honestly, that's not a lot of crossbows, and I could see some pikemen coming out here from Pela as well, but this is looking pretty grim, losing quite a lot of villagers down to 32. Remember that at the beginning, Fedex also lost quite a lot of vills. The TC is gonna go up, but this is traditional Doubt TC. 25 villagers remaining only for Pela. Unless Fedex can make miracles happen over here, this is going to be insanely hard to come back from, because Pela is just dead. And he's trying to go for TC number 3, which could help at rebooming. Yo is playing with 3 TCs as well, coming in with the crossbows with the next batch. Now, this could allow Fedex to pick up relics pretty easily, but he still doesn't have +2 armor. And oh no, that's another TC denied. Pela is just dead. And maybe if he doesn't lose his army on the front of his base, this could have been different. But honestly, that specific fight lost might have actually meant that this game is over. Fedex is gonna call it, and game number 1 is in the hands of the Chinese team over here. Alright, so with that, this is game number 1. Pretty quick one. Is this a reschedule after the no-show? Yes, it is. Mr. Yo and Lyx accepted the chance to, or like the opportunity to replay this one. They could have taken the admin win, but they said that, okay, if Pela and Fedex want to play that, despite the fact that they didn't show on the last occasion, they are going to have a chance to play. This one was a pretty dominant window from Mr. Yo and Lyx. It is 49 kills to Yo, 22 lost only. Pretty nice play over there. I want to point out that Mr. Yo now has a Red Bull Vololo badge over here. And indeed, shout out to Mr. Yo and Lyx for the good sportsmanship, because as I said, they waited for the opponents yesterday, the opponent didn't arrive, so they could have just taken the admin win, but then they decided that, okay, if the opponent wants to play it, then so be it. And apparently Golden Pit game is up, so we're gonna jump into that and then take a look at the draft. So let's go for the games first. We don't want to miss any important moment. So yeah, the Red Bull Vololo badge looks pretty nice over there by Mr. Yo. Alright, so welcome everybody. This is going to be game number 2 in a best of 5. In between Mr. Yo and Lyx, also known as Yin Yang, versus Pela and Fedex. And we're gonna have the first hope map for the Argentinians over here. Pela and Fedex going on with Khmer in green and Britons for Pela in blue. On their side, we are going to see Berbers for Lyx in yellow, and we also have Mr. Yo as Saracens in red. So somewhat surprising that we haven't actually seen Saracens being banned over here. We are gonna have Saracens available for Yo, and you can see that he's rushing up a Marty kit already. As I said, you can click up to Castle Age with Saracens at around 34 villagers. If you don't go for an archer range, you can even do like 33, 32, and that's exactly what Yo is gonna do. Look at that Castle Age time. I think it's going to be like something like 32 villagers. He's going to sell his stone, sell his wood, and buy himself up to Castle Age. Just like that. We could see like a 2-minute time to click up into Castle. Hasn't sold his resources yet. In the meanwhile, we're gonna have some insane long walls here from Lyx. His gold on the front is exposed, so he kinda has to go for these, but this takes quite a lot of time to do, and if you take a look at this from Yo, he is actually close to clicking up to Castle Age, and he's going to be up after the 33rd villager. Yes, this is a reschedule, that is correct. Anyways, archers slowly coming in here for Pela, and what is Fedex planning to do? He could go fast castle here with Khmer as well, basically. Just go for the farming, and then you can click up to castle relatively fast over here. And indeed, he's not going for the scouts. I actually approve this one. I feel like unless you have a hole through which the scouts can rush inside, it's very unlikely that you can do damage. Like, Lyx has a very unlucky base, and technically if you open scouts, you could kill villagers here, but you can't assume that your opponent has a map like this. More oftentimes, you probably have an open map like what we have with Mr. Yo. Did I say open map? I wanted to say closed map. So basically easy wall-offs for Yo here. Usually the scouts don't really pay off. Lyx in the meanwhile, he's gonna have quite a lot of walls. His gold man over here is pretty bad as well, but he's going to TC this later on. And we are basically just gonna see fast castles over here from everybody. But Yo is already halfway up to castle, and look at that. He's gonna have 6-7 crossbows by the time he gets up, and honestly, he's up against... oh, we have scouts from Lyx! I didn't see that! I thought Lyx is just going for FC, looking at his resources, but he actually went for 2 scouts over here and picked off a villager. He's actually within Pela's eco. Now, nice quick calls over there from Pela, walling off the villagers. Another nice quick wall, but that villager is still exposed. Now, Pela can take this fight, especially if he has a defensive spearman coming in here for him, but he's going to have to abandon his... berries for the time being, and that is 1 villager picked off. Meanwhile, defensive spearman up there, nice quick walls, but it's not gonna happen again. Scouts still roaming free, and this is going to make life a little bit harder for Pela. You can see that there is idle TCs, idle villagers over there. The eco is just messy, and that's actually pretty good, because this delays the castle age of Pela quite massively. In fact, Pela is still idling his TC. Lyx is doing an insanely good job just harassing and making sure that, you know, he delays as much as it is possible from Pela's eco. Look at that. That is just so much idle time on the TC and so much delay on the castle age time. And in the meanwhile, we're gonna have Yo bashing his way into the base of Fedex. And the reason why delaying the castle age of Pela is important is because you know that the Saracen player will be faster to castle age than Fedex. Which means that Fedex right now is unable to defend. He can go scouts, but scouts aren't really going to stop crossbows over here. And Yo can just bash his way into the base of Fedex. Fedex is trying to get those walls up. But yeah, all the damage that is being done here on Pela, he's just clicking up to Castle Age, and he's going to be a final player. He was just too focused on dealing with these scouts. 3 scouts were so annoying over there. Yeah, Lyx is exactly doing what he has to here. And now the crossbows are in. Now, the thing is that we have Fedex up in castle, so he can pop out a few knights, and you could clean this one up quite easily, because, you know, that's not a lot of crossbows. Apparently, in fact, we are gonna have Fedex in here with elephants, which is also a nice way to, you know, just clean up these crossbows. But we already have Yo coming in with more, and Fedex only has +1 armor. Indeed, as Nimano says, that probably was a lucky opening over there for Lyx. Or it was just about to be walled off, but there had to be something happening because it's an easy wall off for Pela, but there was a hole for whatever reason, so maybe the walls were unfinished. Anyways, that's a lot of crossbows from Yo. I like this trap though. You kind of want to separate the crossbows so they can't group up, because if they group up, they can just kill the elephants, since the elephants don't really have the extra armor. You want to bring these crossbows over here and help out the other crossbows, because their crossbows are pretty much dead if you don't help trying to get out. And it could work. It could work. But some of the crossbows are now dying, so this isn't going to be a great fight over here for Yo. Yep, basically he's gonna lose all the crossbows. I think it would have been worth it more if you just try to take this fight over here. And you can pick that Voyager off as a revenge, so that's still nice. And Pela is at 35 Voyagers, the lowest in the game. If you take a look at Lyx, he's playing 2 TCs, 3rd TC being dropped, and we apparently are going to see Knights coming in here slowly inside the base of Fedex. Fedex is trying to trap Lyx or Yo's Knights over here. And in the meanwhile, that's still quite a lot of crossbows. That's still no meat shield in front of those crossbows. And that's something I don't like. Like, Yo does have small groups of crossbows, but they're slowly getting pushed back by elephants over here. And that's just not great. Now, Knights are finally coming in here, which is going to be a quite decent meat shield in here. But still, Yo lost quite a lot of crossbows, has 4 kills to 12 deaths, and that's going to be no quick walls from Fedex, which means that Knights will slowly come into his eco. But this is the moment where Pela could just unleash his crossbows, and this is a very, very weak spot in Lyx's base. Pela could definitely get in there. And in the meanwhile, Knights again could cause some disruption within Fedex's base. Both Pela and Fedex have weaker ecos than Yo and Lyx respectively. Yo is on 2 TCs, Lyx will be on 3. And it appears that Pela is just gonna bump into Lyx's TC in the middle, picks off 1 Voyager, but then apparently goes to help his teammate, who is in a bit of a trouble over here, I would say. Crossbow still slowly moving in, but it's Khmer farming. And one of the things that you could do here is just jump into houses with Khmer if there is those raids coming in. Apparently that's not something that Fedex is doing right now, as they want to open up this side so they don't have to run past the TC. Yeah, indeed, it is absolutely painful for Yin Yang that they couldn't do a lot of damage with the Saracen Faster Castle, because now the Briton crossbows will eventually be better than the Saracen ones, and now the next chance for Yo to really do damage would be a Fast Imperial here. In the meanwhile, 3 TC boom for Lyx, 2 for Fedex, 3 for Pela, and Yo is also on 2, so relatively even ecos, but Pela and Fedex have lost quite a lot of Voyagers, especially Fedex is still losing a few. It is just a very, very slow process to catch up with the Knights using the elephants. In the meanwhile, as I completely forgot to update the match command, okay, now the match command should be fine. Is Pela Kaposh? No, Pela is Pela. So, crossbows bashing their way into Yo's base, and Yo's gold mine here is indeed exposed. Suddenly Yo could be without gold because he's consuming this gold mine, and Yo doesn't really have a foothold in the middle. He's gonna bring his crossbows back, but it's 1 extra range on Pela's crossbows, which means that he's gonna have a nice advantage in this one. Now the thing is that all these crossbows here will be trapped though. So you can get through this house with Briton crossbows, and in the meanwhile Knights are coming, crossbows are coming. Nice move from Lyx to wait for the friends to arrive. In fact, Pela should know there is trouble because all the wars were deleted, and Fedex Oh, FedEx just resigned because the Knights were killing his eco. Oh, man. I mean, this would have been a cleanup, but I didn't even see that FedEx was under this big pressure. I think he lost huge amount of villagers over here. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but I see villager corpses everywhere. And indeed, FedEx is down to 42 villagers, so I believe what happened is that basically FedEx tried to get a TC up here, Knights arrived from Lyx and just killed a bunch of villagers. So, with that, this is game number 2, and so far we're in for a fast win over here for the Chinese team. The winner of this matchup faces off against Viper and Taro and Jordan. This is why that game is not scheduled, but it's very unlikely that it will be played on Thursday or Friday. As soon as it is scheduled, it will be posted on AoE Zone. Lyx with 23 kills, 6, that's only in this one. And we are gonna have a lobby screen over here. So this is going to be the moment when we're going to take a quick look at the draft before we jump into game number 3. And apparently the second home map for Pela and Fedex will be Enemy Archipelago. I want to give some style points for them for playing that map though. Because, well, Enemy Archipelago is just great. So, I'm just going to show this off over here. This is the draft. We already had the Vietnamese, Berbers, Saracens, and Huns for Yo's team. And on the other side, we had Britons, Ethiopians, we had Lithuanians, and Khmer. So what we are left with is Slavs, Spanish, Burmese, Portuguese, Mongols, Celts, Incas, and Goths. On the other side, Japanese, Malay, Chinese, Teutons, Malians, Persians, Cumans, Byzantines. I feel like Koreans is actually one of the best saves for Enemy Archipelago. So I could see Koreans being used, but apparently neither of the teams drafted that. Teutons can be strong, Incas can be strong, Spanish can be strong. So there's a lot of options to play Enemy Archipelago, but I think everybody's waiting for that game, as I will need to restart mine because apparently I can't click the spectate button. Malay for infinite fish traps, I don't think it matters. I mean, there is quite a lot of fish in the sea, so I don't think it actually benefits you that much. Sure, it helps, but if you think about the fact that you need some sort of military, Portuguese, no. On Enemy Archipelago, you spawn right next to an opponent. You need something that has great early feudal age aggression on land, or early castle age. Celts are great, for example, because you can actually go for crossbows and play aggressive with mangonels. Koreans are amazing, because you can just open with towers, and once you get up to castle age, those will be converted to guard towers, and it's very hard to stop a guard tower push. Because there is nowhere to run. It's not like you're just going to run away from the guard towers. If you are cornered in your own island and surrounded by guard towers, you are dead. Teutons could also be an idea for that. But exactly, as Nimano says, Koreans can take insanely huge amount of map control with the towers, and cleaning those towers up in castle age is very hard. And you just can't go anywhere else. Like, you can transport your villagers to the opponent's island, but that's not really going to work here, I believe. So I think that on Enemy Archipelago, Aztecs, I don't think so. Still want Enemy Socotra? Enemy Socotra wouldn't work as a 2v2 map. You know why? Because what happens if on one Socotra, like on one of the Socotras, one of the teams wins and destroys the entire opponent, or and on the other one, the other team wins. Then the two Socotra generations are just unable to interact with each other. So in Enemy Archipelago, you can interact with the opponent on the other island on like a enemy Socotra or double Socotra. That wouldn't actually work. Not sure if that was clear or not, but I think you get what I mean. Alright, so welcome everybody, this is going to be game number 3 in a best of 5 between Yo and Lyx and Pela and Fedex. We're going into Enemy Archipelago in a round of 60s of Empire Wars Duo, and on Enemy Archipelago, you have 2 players on each island, and it is always one enemy with you on the island. Yo is playing Japanese in red, alongside him on this island is Fedex in green. In Celts, other side we're gonna have Lyx's Malians in yellow rushing up a stable very fast, and Incas for Pela in blue, I understand that. You can actually play this one with Incas and go for a Will Rush, especially if you take a look at Lyx's map. If you can start towering this one, I could see Lyx getting into trouble. From this, we're gonna have archery range from Fedex over here, and archery range from Yo as well. It appears that Lyx is the only player who's playing with scouts, and we're gonna have an archers opening from Pela. I don't like this. Just going for standard archers, I mean, against the scouts play, it should work fine, especially if you add a few spears. But enemy Michi, oh my god, that would be crazy. This is not Team Islands, because you spawn with one enemy on your island. Yeah, Team Islands, but mixed. But the official name for this map is Enemy Archipelago. It has been a map for generations, but not a lot of tournaments used it because it is kinda chaotic. Some players don't like it, but we do have some Enemy Archipelago games in this tournament, and apparently we are gonna have Lyx fully voling himself. He has a gold at the back, something he does see, so even if he loses this gold mine, he can go back over there. And it appears that Yo is going to do some fishing, and he's going to be the only player who is going to fish for now. We could see Fedex dropping a dock here with this Voyager though. This is a great dock, by the way, from Yo. Japanese fishing is really going to pay off, and there is a hole for Lyx. There is a hole for Lyx, and this could be exploited quite massively. In the meanwhile though, Lyx is going to pick off the reinforcements of archers. Again, Pela is just not adding enough spears to his archer parties. He's going to do some damage, but I mean, it's one spear, one archer. It's not really going to do a lot, and it's the ego dying already. Oh man. Villagers will be able to fight off the scouts, but you need a lot more spears to deal with the scouts over here, in addition to your archers. Now, if you do that, you are still going to be fine, because you can pressure the berries, you can pressure this gate, for example. Archers and spears coming in here for Fedex. Hitting one villager over here from Yo. Yo does have some archers and skirms himself, and he is taking a fight against Fedex, losing it eventually. Fedex is fighting up hills, but he has a skirm over here to win that fight for him. And in the meanwhile, Yo is going to have to run away once villager dies from Yo. But remember, in the meanwhile, Yo has fishing eco behind this one, so does Lyx. And meanwhile, Pela does not have any fishing eco, and Lyx is, or Fedex is just adding fish. Is it fixed positions so they know who they face in the lobby? I don't know. I don't think so. I think the only two fixed position maps are Twin Puddles and Cape of Storms. So the thing is that now Lyx is in trouble because he's going to have to add skirmishers since he's fighting against archers and spears, and finally the towers come in here. Perfect for Pela. He doesn't know about the gold mine at the back, but still, this is just about the map control. There is going to be no space for Lyx to fall back to if these towers come in. And this is going to make life a lot harder for Lyx. Now, the thing is that I love the counterattack from Lyx with the free scouts. Could pick off quite a lot of Voyagers. I would love to see Pela adding a few defensive spearmen. In the meanwhile, Yo is defending quite nicely against Fedex. And honestly, Fedex is doing a decent job pushing forced defensive tower from Yo. The only concern here for the Argentinian team is that Yo has a crazy fish boom behind this one. Defensive tower coming up here, but I'm not sure if this is gonna go up, is it? It will. It's gonna go up, but you want to garrison your archers inside this tower and you're fine. Fletching is also there for both sides. By the way, if Pela clicks on this tower and sees the fletching, he should know that his opponent will actually add skirmishers because fletching is an indication for that. Fedex picks off one Voyager from Mr. Yo, and Enemy Archipelago might actually work out nicely over here for Pela and Fedex. The only concern is that they are still behind the eco, so despite the fact that they are killing enough villagers from Yo and Lyx here, they are just unable to catch up in eco because they don't really have any fishing eco. So they really need to kill a lot more than this. No extra armor on Fedex's skirms, but he's still winning this fight by numbers right now. And it's only one fishing ship for Fedex right now. But, as I said, Lyx is starting to lose villagers over here, and luckily, if you add the infantry armor to your villagers and even forging for Pela, apparently he definitely added all the villager upgrades, then it's harder for the towers to kill the villagers, which means that it's easier to take tower fights. If you take a look at Lyx's villagers, most of those villas are weak. Meanwhile, Lyx is doing a decent fish boom behind this one. He's getting close to clicking up to Castle Age here. Some more skirms taking some fights, but I don't think they will kill a lot. They will just trade against those skirmishers. Fedex is far from... Actually, Fedex has already clicked up to Castle Age, just like Mr. Yo. And Pela getting close to clicking up over here. And so is Lyx. Now, if Lyx gets up to Castle Age, there should be Knights coming up from him. So, for Pela, the appropriate play here would be to add some more Spears. And Skirms are coming. Pela has already added some Eagles here, so he could actually take this fight if he wants to. He has +1 armor, and the gates are open. He's going to stick there with the Spearman, and he can now walk inside. Eagle is going to tank a lot of arrow fire, and things are going to get a little bit more problematic for Lyx over here. But on the other hand, these archers are now trapped in here. So I'm not sure if this was worth it for Pela, because reinforcements have a chance to arrive. You need to destroy that palisade. That palisade is 10 HP. You need to kill that because you're gonna lose all your archers just before getting up to Castle Age. Now, in the meanwhile, look at all the fish here from Lyx. Lyx is a crazy good eco, just like Pela and Fedex, and oh no, those archers are all getting killed. He could have actually escaped here. There is a 10 HP palisade wall over there that he could have killed like with one volley. And, well, skateboarding is on the way. We are going to see all these archers cleaned up. These archers being lost over here might actually result in the game being lost. Because I feel like Pela had momentum over Lyx. Also, he's garrisoning villagers inside the tower. I think that keeping archers inside would have been better for better firepower, and you don't idle your villagers that way. It could have been a lot better. Anyways, the only player who's not on water is apparently Pela. For him, I could see guard towers working, and now he's adding a dock, so he could actually add a few fire galleys to try and hit the fishing eco. Yeah, as a spectator, this map is great, I have to say. And we're gonna have a Hoang rush over here from Fedex versus Yo. Yo is going for a few knights. Now, the base of Fedex is open, and that is actually a little bit concerning because it takes quite a lot of time to catch up with these knights. We also have some knights for Fedex though, so he might just send his own. And that's a lot of spears. And Yo is gonna take... Oh, that's an awful pathfinding for Yo. Look at Yo's knights! They're just getting absolutely annihilated over here. Beautiful ground attack there from Fedex. And in the meanwhile, tower goes down from Lyx. And we're going to see champ scars from Lyx apparently in this one. Or at least longswords for now, alongside elite skirms. That's not actually a bad idea, because what do you do against longsword elite skirm over here? Oh! Speaking of siege workshops, what is that from Pela? That's a ballsy siege workshop over there. And in the meanwhile, we're gonna have quite a lot of pikemen over here. Mangonels coming out. Nice guard tower defense from Mr. Yo. Let's see if he can snipe the Mangonel. Doesn't appear to be the case. Now, Fedex could use the knights to rush inside and kill villagers, but instead he's gonna go for the ram approach. I like that quite a bit as well. You garrison the ram, and you just try to take that tower down this way, because Mangonels aren't really going to kill that tower. Other side, that's a lot of skirmishers though. There is a battering ram inside. Why battering ram? Why battering ram in this case when you know that your opponent has skirms? Meanwhile though, this guy is just moonwalking over here, and honestly, Yo is getting pushed back. More skirms here. I think that Fedex is beating Mr. Yo, but Pela is losing big time to Lyx up until the Eagles arrive. And you just need to kill the eco here. Lyx is actually ahead in eco in comparison to Pela, and his longsword should be able to clean this one up. But that's a lot of eagles, and quite a lot of villagers could die over there. Meanwhile, more towers coming in here as a defense from Yo. And Yo is fighting with villagers against the Mangonels. But he's getting pushed off from his gold mine. Yo has no more gold income, so no more Mangonels for him. He's trying to defend with guard towers. In fact, I think that the defensive castle will soon arrive here from Mr. Yo. But this Hoang rush is looking pretty strong over here so far, and the Eagles are still killing villagers from Lyx. Lyx is down to 45. Oh boy. We could see game number 4 over here, with the Argentinians not giving up. I mean, at some point this is gonna get cleaned up by the longswords and the knights, but the question is, how much eco will Lyx have remaining? And, oh, the slingers! I completely forgot about the slingers, indeed. Slingers and eagles are perfect here for Pela, basically. He might need a few pikes, because if there is some knights, he needs to deal with those. And he's massing rams within this building. But, yeah, normally for Mezzo saves, dealing with elite skirm and longsword is very, very tough. But I always forgot about the Incas. being able to play with slingers, and slingers can kill those longswords pretty nicely. Look at that, that's 4 Barracks Eagles alongside slingers. And in the meanwhile, that's a lot of rams as well. Yo dropping a defensive castle over here on his gold mine as he's microing his final remaining mangonel, pops out another one. And that's going to be a nice fight for him. Keeps the mangoes alive, but that's still a lot of rams from Fedex over there. Fire galleys are also coming in here, and they're pressuring the fishing eco of Mr. Yo. Eagles in larger and larger quantities. Let's see this fight. They need to kill the skirmishers, because otherwise the skirms will kill the slingers. But slingers are just absolutely destroying those longswords, are they? Well, they aren't, so there is a retreat. Pikemen slowly coming in here from Fedex as well into the eco of Yo. And apparently the next target is going to be that stable. Would be nice to see Fedex adding a few knights, because then he could actually pressure the eco of Yo a little bit better. And other thing that you could do is try to take down the docks with your rams. That would kind of kill the fishing eco. Now, apparently the rams pop out here from Pela, trying to finish off the archery range, but that isn't really going to work well. So, despite the fact that this was a decent idea, this is just not working out that well for Pela. Mangonel comes in here again from Mr. Yo, but Yo will have to rebuild his siege workshop. Again, losing ground, and well, he can make samurai, sure, but what is he going to do against this aggression? That's a lot of mangonels, rams. He's trying to fall back, but there is not a lot of space to fall back to anymore. He's gonna go for war galley, which means that he can push back Fedex on the water. US 74 eco though. 69 is the eco count for Fedex, so he's kind of at the same place, but this is an awful fight for Pela. Pela is getting straight up outplayed here by Lyx. If you take a look at this fight, just absolutely awful fights for Pela, despite the fact that his KD isn't that horribly bad, but he's not taking good fights by any means. Pela has 53 eco, Lyx has 53 as well, so it's dead even right now. Let's see what Fedex can do. He's taking down the university, so he's really doing some damage, but I mean, Yo's eco is still intact, and apparently Yo is gonna start adding some samurais. Some knights here from Fedex could do wonders, I believe. Anyways, mangonel pops out for Yo. Let's see if he can actually get a good shot out. A lot of those mangonels are weak from Fedex, and apparently some samurais will try to bash their way into Fedex's base. He's going to realize that's happening, and will add some second layers behind. In the meanwhile, we are going to have probably mangonels or more scorpions from Pela, I would say. This is a very ambitious siege workshop location, and that shouldn't actually go up. But a siege workshop here for mangonels or scorpions would be amazing, because everything that Lyx has can be destroyed by mangonels, and this is a great fight for Pela. Great fight for Pela. Lyx is running away right now as we have Yasama coming in here for Yo. Finally a fight that is being taken, but oh, there's more skirms. Okay, in this case Pela has to run away, and even one slinger is converted. I don't like the siege workshop from Pela at all. This should have been back at home, because this is not gonna go up, and now he's without a siege workshop when he desperately needs one. Meanwhile, on the right side, Yasama towers should be able to clean those mangonels pretty easily, and we have some samurai running around here, killing some eco from Fedex. I don't think that Pela is going to be able to finish off Lyx here. He's just taking so many bad decisions here, I believe. China is now ahead, I think. Yes. Mainly because I think that Pela is unable to beat Lyx over here, although it remains to be seen, because this fight is actually pretty good. And you just need one big momentum like that with the eagles, and you can suddenly run inside and start killing villagers, but you need mangonels for Pela, or scorpions. If Pela gets, what, 3 or 4 scorpions in here with these eagles, he could actually have a great push. Apparently he has added a bunch of dogs, but he's not using them to anything right now. And in the meanwhile, Yo has cleaned up the fishing eco from Fedex. Finally some scorpions, knights are out against the samurai. And in the north, eagles are still running around, but the problem is that you either need more slingers here for Pela against longswords, or you need scorpions. Yo's score is 5,000 indeed, that's crazy. Yo is gonna have a great fishing eco behind this one. He has 90 eco, that's crazy. All the fish is paying off, and Yo is flooding the map with samurais. Yo's defense here against the Hoang Rush has been exceptional, by the way. Yasama guard towers is actually perfect for that, by the way. And now there are quite a lot of samurai rampaging the lands of Fedex over here. By the way, it actually hurts for Fedex that he's against Japanese, because Samurais will clear World Raiders pretty easily. Meanwhile, on the other side, it seems more and more that Pela will have to win this one, and Fedex is just gonna call it. So will Pela. I definitely think that this was their best chance to win, but there were so many unlucky / bad decisions from the Argentinians here. Like, if this siege workshop isn't planned over here but here, and you get 3 Scorpions out, this could have been completely different. Other side, it was just Yo defending extremely well against the Hoang Rush. Like, that was perfect. Guard Tower's defense with Mangonel protection, absolutely amazing plays. And now, indeed, Team China is going to move forward. Yo, 112 kills, 52, that's crazy from him in this one. And Team China, or more precisely, Yin Yang, is going to move forward and face off against Viper, Tato, and Jordan. Not over always. Thank you for a Prime sub as well. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your support as well. Thank you, thank you. So, Viper and Tato and Jordan are waiting their opponent, Yo and Lyx. Of course, the time of this is still unconfirmed, but they will probably confirm very soon. And it will be either Thursday, so tomorrow, or Friday. Semi-finals of the event will be on Saturday, which is the 12th of September, and the grand finals on Sunday, which is, well, the 13th of September. And, well, this concludes the round of 16s. From this point on, we're going to have the quarterfinals. And, yeah, for those who are watching this on YouTube, because it will be uploaded there as well, see you next time.